मैम पीपीटी आपको शो हो रहा है?
हाँ जी।
पीपीटी शो हो रहा है आपको?
हाँ जी। दिख रहा है।
हाँ हाँ, एडमिन जी आप जरा इसको, हाँ ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है।
ठीक है,
ठीक है
मूवी हो रही है।
जी। जी मैम, एक मिनट वाइस चांसलर सर को फोन करके मैं फिर लेक्चर की अनुमति ले लेता हूँ स्टार्ट
ठीक
करने
है।
की।
हम्म।
जी।
हेलो।
मैडम माननीय कुलपति जी ने ज्वाइन कर लिया है। ये एडमिन जरा ये देखो स्क्रीन पे ये क्या आ रहा है, ये जो पीपीटी है उस पे क्या आ रहा है ये? हाँ ठीक है ठीक है। ज्योति, ज्योति स्टार्ट करिए। ज्योति शर्मा।
Yes, sir.
हम्म।
A very good evening to one and all
सर
present
सर
here.
प्रणाम, मेरी आवाज आ रही है सर?
सुन नहीं पा रहे? अब ठीक है। हाँ हाँ
जी
भाई।
जी।
वो तो
जी
एडमिन
सर,
नॉट अलाउ कर रहा है, क्यों? कौन एडमिन है?
आ गया सर, आ गया सर, आ गया।
चलो ठीक है, ज्योति शुरू करो।
जी।
Ji, sir. A very good evening to one and all present here. I welcome you all to the 15th day of international training. With the hope, like every work start with the name of God. We first get the blessing of Ma Durga to begin our session today. Well said by Albert Hobart that the ultimate goal of farming is not the growing of the crop, but the cultivation and the perfection of human being. After 7 decades of independence, India has become self-sufficient in food grain production, but still lack in the production of coarse cereals. Recognizing the enormous potential of millet, which also align with several UN sustainable goals, the government of India has prioritized millet and year 2018 is being declared as National Year of Millet. Further, on 6 December 2022, the Food and Agriculture Organization declared 2023 as International Year of Millet. Spearheaded by the PM of India, Sri Narendra Modi, India play a forefront role in celebrating International Year of Millet with the theme Healthy Millet, Healthy People. The vision of International Year of Millet 2023 is being made people movement along with positioning India as a global hub for millet. As we all have been the part of millet programs while working in different universities, you have gone through different programs which your university has been conducting to make and popularize the production as well as use of millet. Further value added product has been made to prioritize the importance of millet and including the food millet as food in our diet. With this, we have today our chief guest, or I would say the person who is just leading this mission of PM Modi single-handedly and working effortlessly to make this mission a great success. Today, I welcome our Honorable Director IIMR, Indian Institute of Millet, Shri Tara Satyavati ma'am. She is born in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. She completed her graduation and masters in genetics and plant breeding from Acharya and Aranga Agriculture University. She obtained her PhD in genetics in 1998 from Indian Institute of Research Institute, New Delhi. She was gold medalist in UG, PG and doctorate. She was topper in agriculture research service exam. Further, she holds various positions, and for the past 5 years, she is working as on this project and leading India for production and potential of enhancing the production of potential of millet in India. So, ma'am, I welcome you for today's session, and ma'am would be presiding today. Before sessioning of today's session, I would just like to have a few words from our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Rajmata University, Dr. Arvind Shukla, sir. So kindly honor the chair and just introduce and welcome this ma'am with her supporting and motivational words. Sir, please.
Thank you, Jyoti. First of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Tara Satyavati, Director of ICR, Indian Institute of Millet Research, Hyderabad, for joining us and for agreeing to deliver a talk on a very valuable subject, that is millet for food and nutritional security. As you know, evident from the topic of the training, that future of agriculture and agriculture in future, I believe that millet is a quite relevant and a very hot topic, and not only for this year that we called the International Year of Millet, but also for future. In next Amrit Kal, actually we have to include millet in our diet, whether this is a rich man or poor man. Because if you look seriously, that there has been a paradigm shift in agriculture since 1950-51, the time when we were importing foods from the America and other countries, and then we have got some dwarf genes which were introduced into the rice and wheat, and that resulted into enhanced productivity of rice and wheat. But those varieties were very fertilizer responsive. Then that has actually had a very, very worst effect on the soil health as well as on the climate. So, but last 15 years, if we see critically, most of the people are talking on the quality rather than the quantity, because we have more than 36 million tons of the food grains in our buffer stock. But when it comes to nutrition, so it is very difficult to say that whether the food we have stored or we are growing is nutritious or not. Certainly, the millet is one of the opportunity. We can say that we can grow the millets as opportunity crops, whether by including in the different cropping system, or by developing some millets which can be grown in the degraded lands, which we call that we have 120 million hectare degraded lands where they are growing up the crops, particularly rice and wheat, is not possible. So we can develop the variety of millets. Those can be grown in the areas where the other crops cannot be grown. I believe that this lecture will be very, very fruitful for the trainees, and we have to learn a lot from Dr. Tara Satyavati. Actually, he is leading the whole country, not only the institute, IIMR, the whole country, and giving guidelines for the researchers, scientists, and not only researchers, scientists, but also for the several entrepreneurs, the startups, and particularly the processing industries. All those actually kind of the guidance we are getting from IIMR, where Madam is leader of the institute. Thank you very much, Madam, for agreeing to our invitation. This is really great to have you here. And we are also going to have one International Millet Conference in the month of February 2024. I believe there also your institute will join hands with RVS KVB Gwalior. And we are also going to have a One Health program, that is one international conference on 28th and 29th December. There also I wish that IIMR should join the RVS KVB Gwalior, because there we would like to establish the some facts, whether the soil health is related to the human health or not, and how human health could be improved, even if the soil health is not improved. All those things, we have different themes and so many things. Today we have written letter. I believe my staff will send you tomorrow for effective collaboration and participations of IIMR in the next two coming programs. Thank you for joining us in this training. Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you so much, sir, for your motivational words. Further, I would say, sir, have informed in a very few lines, like what is the potential of millet in India right now, and how we can just not only focus on increasing the production, but also right now our goal should also be to have nutritional food further to with the objective, like to increase the production. We also have to focus on our balanced as well as nutritional diet. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now I welcome ma'am once again for today's lecture on the topic millet for food and nutritional security. As every institute is working on millet, every year, this year 2023, almost all institute, either it's government institute or other private institute, either any research station, they all are working on program to make it a successful about production of millet by the year 2020-23. So what are the perspective of millet by 2023 and further? Ma'am will be giving a brief about, as she's working as director and every guideline is being provided by her. So ma'am, I welcome you once again on the platform to deliver to all our participants what is the scope of millet in today's era, and what are the further perspective, what are the work or what are the opportunities for entrepreneur to work on this thing. So ma'am, I welcome you again for today's session.
So thank you very much for the generous introduction, and also thank the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Arvind Shuklaji, for giving me this opportunity to share my views and thoughts on millets for food and nutrition security. Definitely, sir, we'll be happy to work and partner with different agriculture universities to take millets forward. So in that direction, we're already in joining hands with different universities, institutes, and others to make millets part of every individual's diet in this country. As you already mentioned, as per our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, the International Year of Millets is aimed to bring millets back into the diets and also onto the plates of every individual in this country and in the world. So with all the tremendous efforts and untiring guidance and efforts from different officials of the government, industry, educational institutes, universities, research institutes, and many others, this International Year of Millet is going to be a real grand success. And we would be very happy to see millets in daily diets of individuals in this country and abroad. So I hope all of our efforts are coming to reality, and we will see and have a continuum in consumption of millets to provide food and also nutrition security. So with this background, I start my presentation on millets for food and nutrition security. May I have the next one? So if you see millets, these are small seeded grasses which are grown as food and fodder. And here we have different kinds of millets, major millets and minor millets. In India, we are working on 9 different millets. Of them, 3 are major millets. They are jowar, that is sorghum, bajra, that's pearl millet, ragi, finger millet. These occupy about 95% of the total millet area in our country. And the minor millets we are working on are foxtail millet, kodo millet, little millet, barnyard millet, proso millet, brown top millet. And these contribute nearly 5% of the total area. We are also interested in exotic millets like teff and fonio, but not much research efforts are going on in this direction. Looking into the nutritional potential and nutritional richness of these grains, the Government of India has renamed these nutri-cereals, these millets as nutri-cereals for the sake of production, consumption, and trade point of view through a Gazette notification issued on 13th April 2018. And recently, in the March 2023, 18th March, Honorable Prime Minister of India has dedicated Indian Institute of Millets Research as a Global Center of Excellence for Research and Development in Millets. Next one, please. If you look into the world area production and yield of millet crops, millets are grown in nearly 131 countries, with sorghum grown in nearly 102 countries, pearl millet in 38 countries, proso millet in 30 countries, finger millet in 7 countries, foxtail millet in 4 countries, barnyard millet in 2, kodo millet in 1, and like that. And the world area also, if you look into, sorghum occupies the major area of 41.84 million hectares, followed by pearl millet, and the rest in very minute quantity. In world production also, if you look, maximum production is coming from sorghum, followed by pearl millet. And the average yield, the productivity of these millets at the global level are like this. And if you look into the ancient food grains, these are domesticated for food somewhere back in 8000 BC. And the earliest evidence in India is found in Indus civilization, which dates back to 3000 BC. And millets are the traditional food for nearly 59 crore people in Asia and Africa. Next one. Looking into the changing climate scenario, there are burdens of increasing population. Changing climate leads to loss of agricultural land, reduction in crop yields, and reduction in global water. And thus, this creates a pressure on the global population at the risk for both nutrition and food security. And on the other hand, if you look into the water requirement of the major crops like rice, wheat, maize, we see that rice requires somewhere from 900 mm to 25,000 mm, whereas maize requires 500 to 800 mm, Wheat requires 450 to almost 660 mm, whereas millets, they can come, especially pearl millet, it can come even at 200 to 600 mm annual rainfall. This is on the one hand, the water requirement. If you look into the temperature requirements, the maximum suitable temperature for wheat production is something around 30 degrees centigrade. Rice comes well from 32 to 35. Maize comes well somewhere around maximum of 40 degrees. Whereas beyond 40, only millets can flower and set seed. The two, pearl millet is the one which can withstand high temperatures as high as 42 degrees centigrade. It can flower and still set seed. Next one, please. And if you look into the millets, these are farmer and environment friendly crops because their water requirement, for millets is very less. You see, rice requires nearly 1250 mm annual rainfall, whereas sugarcane, it requires 2100 mm annual rainfall. And if you look into the water footprints, the 1 kg of rice produced is nearly something from more than 3000 liters of water, whereas sugarcane requires nearly 4000 liters of water, something like that. And then sorghum, pearl millet, they require very less quantity of water, around 350 liters per 1 kg of grain produced. Similarly, if you look into the inputs like fertilizers and other things, the requirement of millets is very, very low. And the carbon greenhouse gas emissions are also very less in case of these millets. And the carbon footprints are also very less in case of millets. Next one. When we look into the nutritional composition of millets per 100 grams, we can see here we have a comparison with wheat and rice along with all the millets, sorghum, pearl millet, finger millet, kodo millet, proso millet, foxtail, little and barnyard. You can see the amount of nutrients present in these different millets. In case of pearl millet, it is high in fat. It is also high in energy, high in dietary fiber. Then it is also rich in iron and also in zinc. When you look into finger millet, it is rich in calcium and magnesium. Proso millet, it is rich in protein, then essential vitamins like riboflavin, niacin. Then kodo millet is rich in folic acid. Barnyard millet is rich in zinc, and so on and so forth. So the nutritional richness of these millets can be seen when we compare with the mostly consumed staples like rice and wheat. Also, the millets are gluten-free, nutritive grains, and these are supposed to be an effective remedy for celiac disease. Next one. Looking into the nutritional richness, the health benefits offered by these millets are something like they're beneficial in detoxifying the body, they lower the bad cholesterol, they prevent the onset of breast cancer, they help to prevent type 2 diabetes, they're effective in reducing blood pressure, they help to protect against heart diseases, they aid in treating respiratory conditions like asthma, they also help to optimize kidney, liver, and immune system. They reduce the risk of gastrointestinal conditions like gastric ulcers or colon cancer. Then they also help in eliminating constipation, excess gas, bloating, and cramping because they are rich in fibers. Next one, please. Millets are also adapted to smallholder farmers' production system because they're able to grow quickly, they're short duration, and when compared to the main staples like the fine grains, these mature in around 65 to 70 days compared to those which are maturing in 100 to 140 days. And because they're adapted to a wide range of soil conditions, including poor and low fertile soils, they're easy to grow for poor farmers and with the difficult access to inputs. Just now, Honorable Vice Chancellor mentioned that we have so much of underutilized land in India, which can be explored to take up millet cultivation. And then these have large yields increases through improved farm conditions. So the With every increase in inputs, we can see a significant increase in the productivity of these millets. And they also provide a greater biodiversity on farm and reducing pest and climatic risk and improving the overall farmers' resilience. And if you see, these millets will be helpful to address our SDGs, like number 1, that is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, clean water, and many things, SDG 12, 13, and 15, so on and so forth. Next one. If you look, again, millets are anatomically and physiologically superior because millets are C4 crops. All of you know that when we compare C3 and C4 crops, the photosynthetic efficiency is high in C4 crops. Their productivity will be high. Their water requirement will be less. And also they're tolerant to stress. And most of our crops, the staple crops, are C3. So because of this, the millets are highly photosynthetically efficient. And nutritive efficiency and water use efficiency is also high in these millets. Next one, please. Next one. When we look into the global millet statistics, millets are grown in about 74 million hectares with a production of 89.17 million metric tons. And 90% of the total millet production is coming from sorghum and pearl millet. In the initial slides, I have shown that 90% of the total area is from sorghum and pearl millet. And 20% of the total global production is contributed by India. And India is the largest producer and consumer of millets with maximum diversity in terms of types of millet crops grown and utilized for various purposes. Next one. When we look into the millet map of India, when we look into the different states in India, you can see that almost each and every state is growing millet. And when we look in the terms of area, the maximum area is covered by pearl millet, that is bajra, 54.5%, sorghum 34.9%, ragi 7.3%, and small millets, they're covering about 3.3%. Now, and when we look into the production, pearl millet, that is bajra, it contributes to 60% of the total millet production in our country, followed by sorghum, that is 27.6%, then ragi 10.2%, and small millets 2.1%. Next one. Now, millet improvement in our country is taken up through the National Millet Research Network, which is headed by Indian Institute of Millets Research from ICAR. We have we have Indian Institute of Millet Research at the core. Then we have 3 All India coordinated research projects. Now they have become 2, one on sorghum and small millets and the other one on pearl millet. Apart from this, we have a regional station center for at Solapur for Rabi sorghum, an off-season nursery at Warangal for seed production. And now, to addition to this, we have one more recently foundation stone laid by Honorable Vice President of India at Gudamalani, Barmer in Rajasthan for pearl millet. With this setup, we have different research centers located in different state agriculture universities, ICAR institutes, who are working relentlessly on development of sorghum, pearl millet, and small millets. In sorghum, we have 18 research centers, and pearl millet, we have 12, and in small millets, we have 13, which are working from different SAUs. And if you look into their output, till date, from sorghum, we had 144 central releases. From pearl millet, we have about 257 central releases. From small millets, we have about 118 central releases. And most of you must be aware that these research centers from ASRP are multidisciplinary with competent scientific and technical team who are continuously working for the development of millets. So this is the Indian Institute of Millet Research, and this is the Global Center of Excellence which we are going to come up with, as Honorable Prime Minister of India has elevated the status of Indian Institute of Millet Research to Global Center of Excellence. Here we are going to get a world-class research facility for millets. Next one, please. And when you have a look at the flagship programs we have at IIMR, we have genetic resource management, crop improvement for increasing productivity, genetic enhancement for high biomass. Then we have projects which are addressing climate change, crop production technologies, abiotic and biotic stress management, seed science and technology, value addition and commercialization, functional foods and basic studies, and then extension and outreach. And the crop target commodities are all these millets: sorghum for kharif and rabi, then single cut and multi-cut sorghum, sweet sorghum, high biomass sorghum, grain pearl millet, then forage pearl millet, then different small millets. Next one, please. Here, I just wanted to, because I was told that the training program, the people who are the trainees who are there in this training program come from different state agriculture universities and students. So for the benefit of all these people, I thought it might be a bit lengthy, but I thought let me give you the details for each and every millet, so that you'll get a first-hand information of what is happening in this country and also at the global level. So if you see in pearl millet, at the global level, the area is about 30.93 million hectares with a production of 30.09 million tons, and the yield productivity is 973 kgs per hectare. And if you see at national level, we have about 7.41 million hectares with a production of 9.35 million tons and productivity of 1391 kgs per hectare. Next one. And here, when we see what are the states that are growing pearl millet, Rajasthan is the major state, followed by Haryana, UP, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, all these states. And these are the states which contribute to nearly 90% of the total pearl millet acreage. Next one, please. Here, whenever we talk of crop improvement, we first need to understand what are the agroecologies where this particular crop comes. It is just not for pearl millet, it is for any crop. So once you identify what are the areas where this crop is grown, identify those niche areas or agroecological areas, and then set your breeding targets. Come up with product profile, the kind of varieties or the hybrids that can come well in those areas. Then accordingly decide and fix your targets. So here in pearl millet, we have 4 different product profiles, 4 different agroecological zones. Like we have here A1, that is in the northwestern region of the country, then A zone, B zone, and then summer pearl millet. Now, when we say it is A zone, here it is the area where the annual rainfall is less than 400 mm per year. And here we require those materials, those cultivars, whether it is a hybrid or a variety, which is of short duration type. So we prefer here short duration hybrids in population that can mature in 70 days. And here the target area we have is about 3.5 to 4 million hectares. And the kind of material we will be interested in, or the farmers would be interested in, are dual purpose, high yielding, high tillering, early maturing, downy mildew and blast resistant, with seedling stress tolerance. And also iron and zinc in pearl millet. This is the first of its kind crop anywhere in the globe, in the world, where we have mainstreamed the nutritional traits, the nutritional micronutrient traits like iron and zinc. We know that iron and zinc are good in pearl millet. So when we have screened the materials of all the released varieties and hybrids in this country, we came to know that the minimum level is something around 45. Also, we put a baseline as 42 ppm. Minimum level of iron should be there. And then similarly, zinc also should be there something like 32 ppm. So if the breeders are coming up with new hybrids and varieties, we will prefer or we will promote only those material which have minimum 42 ppm and iron and 32 ppm zinc. They may be at the maximum said anything, but minimum it should have 42 ppm and 32 ppm. Then only they will be taken up into the trial and also promoted in the trial. So here, when we look the A zone, the material the farmers would be preferring is medium duration hybrids and populations that can mature in 71 to 80 days. And the target area is something like 2 to 2.5 million hectares. Again, the material that would go in this zone is dual purpose, high yielding, high downy mildew and blast resistance, with seedling stress tolerance and iron and zinc as the benchmark levels. Then in the B zone, that is from southern part of the India, here the material that would go is late duration types, both hybrids and populations that can mature in more than 80 days. And here the target area is something like 1 to 1.5 million hectares. Again, the material that would be preferred is high yielding, downy mildew and blast resistant types. Now we have another segment, another niche area, that is summer pearl millet, which is grown somewhere in Gujarat and southern part of the Rajasthan. Here we prefer medium to late duration hybrid, which are more than 80 days in maturity. And here the beauty of this area is it is a summer potato fellow, summer fellow. They, after potato harvest, means the nutrients are there in the soil. So the pearl millet comes on the residual nutrients with minimal inputs of irrigation through drip and in high temperatures because it is summer months. That means something like April, May, June. So that is the time when this crop is grown. Immediately after harvest of potato in early March, people take up this sowing. And then in peak summer period, because pearl millet is tolerant to high temperature, you will get green fodder. And the demand for green fodder for cattle during summer months is very high. So the farmers are benefited because of the fodder and also the grain they get from this particular summer pearl millet. Next one, please. So these are the product profiles I talked about the different zones. A1 zone, that is Western Rajasthan. So these are the hybrids which are popular. Next one. Next one. So for the A zone, covering the states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, UP and all, they are the varieties and hybrids. For the B zone, for the states of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra and Telangana, these are the hybrids which are popular, hybrids and varieties. Next one. And summer ecology, just now I mentioned. So here we have mostly the private cultivars in oak, and they are late maturing types and really good yield, and you can see dual purpose type of hybrids performing well in this ecology. Next one. Now, pearl millet is also taken up as a bajra, as a fodder crop. So you can take it as a single cut or multi-cut depending on the type of the material you are taking up. If you are taking up Napier bajra hybrids, then you can go for number of cuts. And because it has high tillering ability, it is able to have high biomass potential in short duration. And also the fodder quality is good. This is preferred as a fodder crop in many parts of the country, especially for the cattle, and in those states where cattle are many. Next one. So just now I mentioned that we have started mainstreaming nutritional traits, and when we are talking of food security and nutritional security, till date, all the breeders are aiming at yield, improving the productivity. Here we started improving the productivity along with the nutritional quality. So we are the first one in the entire world to come up with a first of its kind policy in the world in cultivar development to have iron and zinc as part of the promotional criteria. So we have minimum benchmark level of grain iron 42 ppm and grain zinc as 32 ppm. And we have hybrids with as high as iron 77 ppm or iron 83 ppm and zinc 39 ppm. So we have a number of varieties and hybrids now in place. Next one. So these are the number of high yielding, climate resilient, nutritionally superior cultivars of pearl millet. Next. Next one. And I think next we can move to. Here in pearl millet, if you see, till date, we have about 195 hybrids and 65 varieties released. And if you look into the yield productivity enhancement, starting from 1951 to 2020, here we try to depict with a 5-year span. You can see during 51 to 55, it is 305 kg per hectare. Now it has gone, the 5-year average, it has gone to 1290 or 1300 kg. So there is a constant improvement in the productivity. And if you see, initially the area was high, this blue color. Somewhere it was about 10 million hectares. Now it is around 7.41 million hectares. Despite the decrease in area, the productivity, you can see, it was constantly increasing, the gray color one. Next one. And there is a study in 2021 where the pearl millet improvement was discussed in length, and it was observed that initially the genetic improvement, genetic gain was something like 4.5 kg per hectare per year from 50 to 66. Then 67 to 83, it was something like 6.6 kg per hectare per year. And now it has increased and it is something like 31.1 kg per hectare per year. That is the improvement in the productivity. And now it is mainly contributed to the cultivation of hybrids. If you see, initially only hybrids were less, then they started gaining. Then in the third phase, hybrids are more. You can see increase in productivity. And still they are higher. That is how you are getting higher productivity. That's how we can say that pearl millet could gain that much because of the hybrids. Next one. Coming to the next important crop in India, that is sorghum. At the global level, it is 41.55 million hectares. And at national level, it is for the grain sorghum, it is 4.37 million hectares. And for forage also, it is grown in about 4 million hectares. So this is the production level and this is the productivity level. Next one. These are the different agroecologies where different segments of sorghum are grown. We have Kharif grain sorghum, Rabi grain sorghum, summer grain sorghum, that is grown in rice fallow, then forage sorghum, single cut, multi cut, then sweet sorghum for biofuel production or ethanol production. And these are the areas or the states where these types of sorghum are taken up. And this is the area, extent of area where sorghum, these types of sorghum are cultivated. And this is the extent of productivity. Next one. And if you look into the product profiles, again, we have with the rainy sorghum, that is Kharif sorghum, we have extra early, medium, and rice fallows. And these are the varieties, and these are the characters that the breeders would be looking for. Then these are the hybrids, these are the traits that the breeders aim for. Then in medium also we have hybrids and grain hybrids and dual purpose types like that. Next one, please. And if you see into the rainy sorghum product profiles, we have again extra early, medium, and rice fallow types. All these kinds are present. And these are the traits the breeders would be aiming for and targeting for. And these are the popular and recent cultivars released in the Kharif grain sorghum. Next one. And next one, please. And these are the high yielding climate resilient cultivars of sorghum that are recently released with high amount of tolerance to the changing climate. Next one. These are some of the popular and latest Kharif grain sorghum hybrids. Next. These are the varieties. V stands for variety, coordinated sorghum variety. Okay. CSH stands for coordinated sorghum hybrid. Next. In post-grain rainy sorghum, that is the Rabi kinds. Here also we have early duration and medium duration types. Next. These are the Rabi sorghum types, sorghum cultivars that were released. Here, a lot of work has to be done because till date, the research in the country was doing only for Kharif grain sorghums. But now, if you see the Kharif grain area is coming down because of grain mold. And now people are preferring Rabi sorghum because the grain quality is good in Rabi grain sorghum. So the area is now shifting to Rabi sorghum. So lot of scope for varietal and cultivar development in Rabi sorghum. Next one, please. And then I also told about the sorghum forage types, single cut and multi-cut. Then these are the different agroecologies where the single cuts go and these multi-cuts go. Next one. And sorghum is also taken up as an industrial crop for starch, then feed for poultry, as a raw material for potable alcohol, then livestock for forage, sweet stock juice for biofuel industry. So different segments are there in sorghum also. Next one. Coming to finger millet, here this is 12.32 lakh hectares. There is a mistake here. At the global level, it is about 2.2 million hectares, and in India, it is about 1.232 million hectares. And these are the states which grow finger millet. Karnataka has high amount of finger millet, followed by different states. Next one. In finger millet also, based on their suitability and maturity, we have early types, medium type, late, and then irrigated one. These for the southern part of the country. For the northern part of the country, again, we have early and medium types. So again, these are the varieties which were released. Next. These are the newly released varieties, and these are biofortified because here in finger millet, we aim for high calcium content. Here you can see the calcium is 4,280 ppm. And here in the CFM variety, that is the coordinated finger millet variety, here it is 4,540 ppm. So you can see high concentrations of the nutrients, and then these are the different released varieties of finger millet. Next. Coming to foxtail millet, again the area is at the global level, it is 1 million hectare. And here in India, it is about 14,000 hectares. The production is about 2,166 at the global level, whereas for us at the national level, it is only 636. You see, only these are the states which are growing foxtail millet. Next one. So this is the crop which looks like, the appearance is like that. And here the most of the common things are short to medium duration types are preferred. And these foxtail millets are really responsive to the nutrient management. Next one. So these are the different product profiles, early types and medium duration type. And these are the traits the breeders would be looking for. Next one. And these are the varieties that were released in the last 10 years in case of foxtail millet. Next. So barnyard millet, again, India is the country which is growing barnyard millet to a greater extent. This is the area we have, about this much area, and this is the productivity. Next one. These are the varieties or the areas we can prefer. We say that these are the areas where barnyard millet is grown in the northern hilly regions and in the southern plains. And these are the different characters that breeders would be looking for. Next. These are the latest improved varieties in barnyard millet. Next. Next crop is Proso millet. This is a millet which is high in protein. You can see the protein content is something like 14 to 18%. Generally, we think protein is high only in pulses. But here it is a millet crop with high amount of protein, unimaginable. But we have it, and a lot of work is being done, and nowadays we are getting plant-based proteins also extracted from this Proso millet. So these are the kind of materials you have in Proso millet. Next one. Kodo millet. This particular millet is adapted to hilly ecology and salinity stress tolerant. And this is very rich in fiber and antioxidants. And it is mainly seen in the central part of India, in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Kodo and Kutki are the major crops there. So these are the latest improved varieties of Kodo millet. Next one. Little millet, again, we have a large amount of variability, something it appears like rice from far. So here we have different kinds of races called as Robusta and Nana. And this has high fodder yield, and this is early maturing and shortening. So the breeders are trying to combine the high tillering nature from Nana and the robust growth and high yielding from Robusta. So they're trying to make the process and coming up with variability, which would be having some of the traits from both the parents. Next one. These are the latest varieties released in Little millet. And if you see, these are the climate resilient, high yielding varieties that were released in the recent past. Next. This list continues. And if you see, in the introduction also, Honorable Vice Chancellor mentioned that millets are short duration crops. And you see, these are some of the short duration millet varieties or hybrids that were released. Proso millet, these are the ones which mature in 70 days. Then pearl millet, these are the hybrids that mature in 75 days. Barnyard millet in 86 to 90 days. Foxtail millet in about 75 days to 90 days. Little millet, 90 to 95 days. Sorghum, these are the ones. Finger millet, Kodo millet. If you see, compared to the other major staples, which mature from about 140 days to 150 days, here the farmer is trying to save nearly double the time, half the time. Okay, so these millet crops, they are the good candidates for the contingency crops, and also they can fit well into the cropping sequence. Next one. Till date, from 2010 to 23, these many cultivars were released in case of millets, and these many are the national releases. If you look into the behavior of these crops, pearl millet is a cross-pollinated crop, highly cross-pollinated. Sorghum is an often cross-pollinated, and in these two crops, hybrids are the major ones, and they are successfully developed because of the availability of the male trial system that is suitable for hybrid seed production. Whereas finger millet and other millets are self-pollinated crops, and here creation of variability through hybridization is a real big task. And this is especially Kodo millet is a big challenge for the breeders. Next one. And we also look into our genetic resources and come up with those genetic stocks which are having good traits, and then we have been registering them with the NBPGR and trying to use them in the breeding program. You can see different millets which have been identified and then registered with NBPGR. Next one. Next one, please. So here, till now I spoke about the crop improvement or the millet improvement. Now seed production, here I mentioned that pearl millet is a highly cross-pollinated, sorghum is often cross-pollinated. Here in pearl millet, we have two-way hybrids and three-way hybrids. You have the cytoplasmic genetic male sterility in place in pearl millet. So seed production is possible through ABR system. In sorghum, we have two-way hybrids, and then remaining others are self-pollinated crops. And the way, who are the people who are producing seeds here are the breeder seed organizations like the university or the institute or the company, the seed growers, the farmers, and self-sown seeds. And then the seed growers, like we have the state seed corporations and other people who are also interested in taking up seed production. Next one, please. Now, this is what is related to crop improvement. Now, when we are talking of food security, whatever I told till now related to food security, now we are talking of nutrition security. We have the food, but it has to be transferred to the people to consume. Then only the nutrients will be going in. The problem with millets is the major millets, pearl millet, sorghum, finger millet, they are naked grains. So there is no need to remove any outer layer. But in case of small millets, they're covered with a number of outer layers, which are inedible. So if we have to eat those small millets, we need to remove the outer covering. For that, we need some machinery. The major machinery we have for primary processing, what we use are for rice and wheat. But now we need to standardize, we need to make alterations in the existing machinery and come up with machinery that would be suitable for primary processing, that is removing of the outer seed coat in case of small millets, then grading, then cleaning, and all these things will be dealt under primary processing. And now there are equipment and machinery in place, and these are also distributed to different FPOs and other things for farm gate processing. Apart from that, we also have different technologies available for secondary processing, and we have a number of products developed for that. Next one, please. So we have a number of millet processing and value addition technology. Through primary processing, we can remove the outer seed coat, then we can get products like flour or semolina or dehulled grain. When we talk of secondary processing, we have technologies like for flaking, baking, extrusion, puffing. And for advanced processing, we can go for development of dairy analogs, meat analogs, nutraceuticals, composite foods. And till date, we have about 77 millet value-added technologies, ranging from flour to noodles. And many of the startups have taken up these technologies and have come up with their own enterprises. And now they're in the market, catering to the needs of different people, and are also doing some exports. Next one. So what IMR has done is we try to go for forward integration and backward integration and try to bring people together through small projects, and then we have come up in a bigger scale. Next one. So we have tried to break the inconvenience through innovation. So what we did, we try to do nutritional profiling of the released cultivars. And then we also try to identify and come up with product-specific cultivars, that those cultivars which are suitable for flaking, baking, puffing, and then cultivars which are suitable for roti making, parboiling. Then we also have come up with diversified technologies like designing and retrofitting of the millet processing machinery, then developing a range of technologies from semolina to analogs I have shown in the advanced processing. Then tackling the absence of gluten. I said in the beginning itself that millets are gluten-free nutritive grains. So Gluten is a protein which is responsible for giving that expansion and the rolling properties in wheat. Similarly, since that gluten is present, the wheat rotis or chapatis are easy to make and the rolling property is good. But since that particular gluten protein is not present in millets, the roti is not easily rolled out. So it becomes tough, and generally ladies and others, people who want to use millets, they do not come forward because they cannot take it up directly as roti. Preparation is tough. So in order to address that issue, we have come up with the gelatinization through starch manipulation. So many technologies are there involved and many innovations are involved in developing these technologies for millets. Next one. So we have the processing interventions. You can see the cookies, you can see the noodles and semolina. These are the products. You can see the primary processing and other things. Next one. So we have the puffs, millet puffs, flaking technology, baking technology, cold extrusion technology, hot extrusion. Then we also have fortified foods in place. We have come up with ready to cook and ready to eat, instant mixes, recipes development. All these things were done at IIMR. Next one. So we also have come up with millet recipe books. We have contemporary recipes that would be suitable for breakfast, main course, snacks, sweets, desserts. For breakfast, we have idli, dosa, upma. See, in idli, dosa, upma, and other things, what we are doing, we are using some staple grains like cereals, like rice or wheat. So instead of rice or wheat, we are replacing with millets. So now we need to see what are the millets which will blend well and what are the millets that cannot blend well. So all this information, it has been tested and again we have generated the information. Then we also have come up with main course material, snacks, meals like that, and traditional recipes. And also we have come up with international recipes. Next one. So we have international recipes, 108 recipes from Asian cuisine, American cuisine, European cuisine, African cuisine, Australian cuisine. Recently, we had the agriculture ministers of the G20 countries visiting our institute and also the heads of the international organizations. The popular dishes of these G20 nations, we presented to them in the millet versions. So the taste and the texture and everything was really impressive. All the ministers were very happy to see their popular dishes in the millet versions. So we have all those recipes. Next one. So we have our own brand called as Eat Right. The ready-to-eat products developed from IMR are branded as Eat Right. Next one. So we have a technology business incubation called as NutriHub, which deals with these product development through Center of Excellence, and also it will handhold the startups and upcoming budding entrepreneurs to come up with millet products and they launch their products in the market. All the handholding is done right from the beginning till the end. Next one. So till date, this is the impact of millet, ICR-IMR millet startup ecosystem. You can see 400 plus startups, then 267 startups incubated with us. This much 10.39 crores of funds have been sanctioned for these startups in different projects. Then 77 millet products, then 220 plus technologies transferred to industries, then 1200 plus applicants who have taken up this in our IMR, NutriHub. So many things are happening, and then we also have incubation programs, agribusiness incubation, RKB Beraftar, and then Nidhi DSD. So many things are there where we try to support different startups and entrepreneurs. Next one, please. So as I mentioned, we In order to create demand for millets and make them a domestic commodity through value chain addition, we have done both backward integration and forward integration involving the farmer, consumer, then entrepreneurship development, processing, R&D quality and everything, so that the benefits are again reaped back into the system and to the farmer. Next one. So these many technologies have been supported through our NutriHub. Next one. So in the beginning, Honorable Vice Chancellor also mentioned that we were trying to do millet promotion at the national level, and also we are trying to give and guide to the international community also for millet promotion. Here at the national level, we have been engaged as in the stakeholder engagement. We are associated with different state governments for their millet missions, like Karnataka Millet Mission, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Kerala. Then we are also involved in training and capacity building programs. Then we also organized training to self-help group members. We have startup ignition programs. Then cooking with millets is a regular phenomenon. So every month on the 3rd or 4th Saturday, we invite people from public. This is on a payment basis. They come to our NutriHub, our Center of Excellence. They learn how to cook millets. So we have our chefs who will be training them. Then we also conduct millet walkathons and other things to create awareness and promote millets. Next one. Next one, please. So these are the incubation and millet startup ecosystems we had with. We have collaboration in R&D with big multinationals like Nestle, PepsiCo, Marico, Hindustan Unilever Limited, and many people. And we also have products like millet milk, ice cream. You have she is Samantha Prabhu, who was also a renowned actress, and many people are coming now forward to promote millets. And these many startups, this much of grant and everything was there. Next one, please. So as part of the International Year of Millets, we conducted many activities, starting from the 26th January, the Republic Day, where a millet tableau was presented. Then we have organized many fairs. Then many things were organized. Then we have Chhattisgarh Millet Carnival, Rajasthan Millet Conclave. Then we have Millet Walkathon. Then largest Germplasm Field Day for sorghum. Many things. We have been continuously conducting various programs to take up millets and create awareness and promote millets in public. We have a millet van at Hyderabad. One of our startups has taken that. They started distributing millet breakfast free for 365 days. I think now already they have completed 330 plus days. They'll be completing by this 31st December. They started from 1st January till 365 days. So for 31st December, they've been distributing free millet breakfast at different places throughout Hyderabad. Next one. So just now I mentioned the G20 technical excursion of agriculture ministers. We have showcased all the millets here. These are the ones where the millet recipes, the popular recipes in millet versions were prepared. They're really happy to see and showcase their products. Many things happened as part of the International Year of Millets and also the G20. Millets were at the center stage in all these things. Next one. So I mentioned that Honorable Prime Minister of India has elevated us as Global Center of Excellence. These are the different verticals we'll be working on enhancing the millet genetic resources, technology innovation, then enhancing yield and productivity and many things. Nutricereal, one international referral lab, center of excellence for millet value chain, international knowledge, skill development and capacity enablement, global facility for industrial utilization, regional innovation, regional technology innovation and outreach hubs. So many things are in pipeline as part of this global center of excellence and as part of this international year of millets. Next one. And you all know that Honorable Prime Minister has rebranded these millets as Shri Ann, that is the Shrestha Ann or the superfood because of the nutritional richness of these millets. So IMR is geared up to stand to that expectation, and we are ready to give the best practices in millets to different countries. And we're also scaling up millet value chain. They're contributing towards South-South cooperation, mainstreaming millets, extension and outreach, and all these things are being done at IMR. Next one. So the reason why the millets have been rebranded as Shri Anna are because they're a big foundation for chemical-free farming. They provide a medium of holistic development in the country. They're linking village and the poor, and they're door to prosperity for small farmers of the country. They're also helping in felicitating the tribal communities, and they're huge help in fighting climate change. And apart from these, because of the nutritional superiority, these millets are termed as Shri Ann. Next one. So just now I mentioned. Next one. So thanks for your kind attention. Eat millets and stay healthy.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful session. You explained very well about the types of millet, what is the future prospect, nutritional value of different types of millet. And further, you also informed what are the different schemes being started by Government of India as well as under your institute leadership for promotion of millet, value addition, and various entrepreneurship opportunities for our youngster. Thank you so much, ma'am, for today's session. Further, I request to all the participants, if there is any worthy question you want to ask to ma'am, the dice is open for discussion. Any question from our audience?
यदि किसी
I
का कोई
request
डाउट है
to-
तो चैट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हैं। जी मैडम।
Ma'am, it's a question from Nitin sir. His question is, what do you mean by two-way hybrid and three-way hybrid?
So you are a breeder, plant breeding student, or what?
Nitin sir, ma'am is asking the question. Kindly mention in your chat box you are from which stream, either from agronomy or either from plant breeding.
Entrepreneur.
He's an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, you would be interested in the seed production, or you want to take up how? Because for three-way, here hybrids are the mainstay in case of pearl millet and sorghum. I said the three-line system of hybrids are present in case of pearl millet, ABR. In case of sorghum, it is not really so big, but in pearl millet, it is very well established and in vogue. So for those people who are interested in seed production, this really matters. For entrepreneur, I don't think it really matters to you.
Ma'am, another question is from another question is how biofortification is done and how you have selected iron and zinc rich varieties in millets.
See, biofortification here in millets we do by normal natural hybridization only. We are not going for any artificial technology, because when we started screening our material for these micronutrients, the micronutrient deficiency like iron and zinc leads to anemia, and that is a very big issue in our country. Nearly 70 to 80% of the female, adolescent, and young mothers are anemic. So that leads to many issues. So hidden hunger is a big issue. So in order to address that, people started looking at different crops, what are the ones which would be providing these essential micronutrients. And that is how when the Harvest Plus program also started working about these, we could see that iron and zinc is very high in pearl millet, and then we started looking into our material. When we screened, we could identify that these are the ones with the high iron and zinc, and then we tried to start our breeding programs using those material. Naturally, by creating natural crossing, hybridization, we started crossing the material and coming up with high material, the offsprings with high amount of iron and zinc, and that's how we started building the material. It's already there established in pearl millet. And then in other millets, I said ragi is rich in calcium and all these things. So we are trying to naturally come up with material which are having these nutrients in high content. That is biofortification. We are not adding anything from outside. So
I think sir is clear about with ma'am reply. Another question is from Dr. Vikram Kesrani sir. Can millet be introduced in the public distribution system to make it accessible and affordable to the masses?
yes, it should be, and it is practiced in case of Odisha, in case of Chhattisgarh. The Government of India has declared minimum support price. Some states, they're procuring the millets from the farmers at minimum support price, and then they're putting them in the public distribution system so that these millets reach to the needy, to the masses. It can happen, but since agriculture is a state subject, though the Government of India is declaring the MSP and saying that one should procure and then put them in the PDS, again, it depends on the sweet will of the states and the political scenario.
Ma'am, another question is from Sri Vamsi Kumar. His question is, most of the millets are grown on marginal and submarginal lands, and the cultivar are nutrient responsive, and the productivity is low. As well as I want to know is there any breeding technique to reduce anti-nutritional factor in millet production?
See, millets are by default grown in dry lands and by poor farmers. But millets do respond to the nutrition and to the moisture. So if you give sufficient amount of moisture and nutrients, they can yield as high as your rice or wheat. They have that potential. They are responsive to water and nutrients. But since they are grown by resource poor farmers, they are grown in such a way. Otherwise, if we want to increase productivity like the green revolution, here also we can increase the productivity. But since they are the lifeline of those poor farmers, and they are being grown like that, that is why we are telling them. Otherwise, we have results, we have reports that when you give drip irrigation and when you give nutrients in those drip irrigation, the results are enormous, very high. You can see high productivity. That is possible. But since most of the millets are grown with nutrient resource poor farmers, we are not expecting that much. Otherwise, if you take it up on a large scale or for experimental sake also, you can get high yield.
Ma'am, we have last question of today's session from Vanita Singh, ma'am. Ma'am, question is, what is the optimum or percentage of uptake or intake of millet in our human diet for average human being on daily basis?
See, as per the recommendation of National Institute of Nutrition, if a healthy adult requires 270 grams of cereals per day, their recommendation says that 90 grams should be millets. So the take-home message is one should go for dietary diversification, and in that also, if we can incorporate millets, that is really good. 1/3 percentage of your calorie intake should be through millets.
I hope all the doubts of participants are already clear. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time for our today's session. Further, I thank you, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, for spending his valuable time to be with us for today's session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for today's session.
Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैडम.
Thank you.
So thank you to all the participants for joining today's session. Meet you for the tomorrow session with at same time at same venue. Thank you to one and all.
सभी पार्टिसिपेंट लेफ्ट कर सकते हैं.